You made it to level 2, deeper questions leading to deeper answers. I'm Tomas Garza, and I'm here to help you decide to transform. I'll be setting the pace for the process to support your unfolding. Learn and commit to a practice that brings simplicity and then awareness of what is ready to be released. Join me now and allow the experience of a deeper sense of love. Hello and welcome to Decide to Transform. I'm your host, Tomas Garza, and as always, we have a very, very special show in store for you today. This is part 3 of the series Intentional Parenting with Arlene Wallace. And I know you've enjoyed the first 2 episodes. This is a 6-part series with Arlene, hosted by myself and my co-host, Lisa Berry, whom I'll introduce in a moment. Arlene Wallace was born in Jamaica and now resides in Ontario, Canada. She's the proud mother of Noah, age 23, an educator and a passionate advocate for all single parents and their children. And my co-host, Lisa Berry, is the host of the internet radio show Light on Living on Om Times Radio, a trained holistic nutritionist and life coach. Also a founding faculty member at the International Academy of Universal Self-Mastery, where she's also a counselor on the IAWSOM Council and a very, very dear friend. Lisa, welcome. Thank you for co-hosting with me.
Thank you so much and welcome, Arlene. We're happy as always to have you back.
Why, thank you,
Arlene,
Lisa.
we're delighted. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Well, today, as we do, I love this intentional parenting. And it's really interesting for me to walk through this with you, Arlene, because I am not a parent myself, but I have friends who are parents, and I had parents and I have parents. And it's really interesting hearing your perspective on this, because I can see how you care so much, and I can see it in how your son Noah respects you and treats you in the relationship that you have. And I want to ask you, just if we could start around the single parenting. I was raised both with my mom and dad my whole life until my mom passed. But the single parenting, did you ever think you'd be a single parent, and was there any fears around that when it first happened?
Absolutely. Lisa, basically, I grew up with my mother and my father. My father passed away when I was in high school. I've never had the vision of being a single parent, because I did grow up in that 2-parent home until my dad passed away. And my dad was very strict. He was all about education first. And if he was alive, I don't think if I'd gotten pregnant during the time, I would be alive today. Like, not literally, but he was that strict. It would have been very, very challenging, because he had the mindset of education, career, and then family. And I stepped outside of that, and I did experience many challenges as a single parent, and many biases also as a single parent. Yes. So
what do you mean the biased?
Yeah, many different types of biases or prejudice as a single parent, because I had my son 23 years ago. Things are completely different now, in the sense that when you are a single parent, in different environments or atmospheres, you will be looked down on. You will get judged automatically. So when I was actually giving birth to Noah, or was in the hospital just before giving birth to Noah, I did experience that bias. I was treated differently as a single parent compared to someone with a family or marital status. With my experience, I was somewhat ignored. I wasn't attended to fairly quickly because I was there by myself in the
Okay.
hospital room. Yeah.
Do you think that I'm just wondering now, out of curiosity, like the emotions that we experience when we are first parents and first, when you're pregnant, actually, even, do you think that any of that affected your relationship with Noah right from the start? That having those kind of feelings of worried about the future, how will this be, or how people are treating me? Do you think it affected the relationship between you and your son?
Well, I think so to a certain degree before I had learned to control or to recognize or to become aware. Oh, most definitely, because I was so consumed with my own worries, such as because he was born very preemie as well, life-threatening preemie. He was born at 24 and a half weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was consumed with worry. I
Sure.
was that helicopter parent. I was overprotective. But then on the other hand, due to that stress of carrying those emotions, I was also angry. I was frustrated.
Okay.
Because even at nighttime, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep through the night, not only because he would wake up, but when he was in the crib, I would have to constantly, through worry, check if he was breathing. And sometimes I would take him out of that crib and place him on my bed with me so I can hear and feel him breathe, just to give me that peace.
Okay. Uh, yes. And how long did Noah's physical challenges last as a result of being born prematurely?
Oh, I would say from the time he was born, I'll tell you a little bit of that history.
Okay.
I did not anticipate him coming that early, obviously.
Sure.
I was very scared when I was in hospital and they said that he was coming. Now, when I was in hospital and I felt this pain, they didn't give me the advice as to stay in bed after them giving me the medication.
Okay.
So again, because I felt strong and I felt okay after the medication, I started getting up. And that increased the labor quicker. And so when I was in pain, I took a little bit of time, longer than I should, to have called for help.
Oh, okay.
And that is something that I think we all need to work on, that when you need help, call for help before it's too late. So when Noah was born, he was born, like I said, at 24 and a half weeks. But when he came out, the doctors were actually amazed because at that stage, his eyes should have been fused and very little movement. But when he came out, his eyes were wide open. He still has those big eyes and long lashes today.
All right.
And his arms and legs were wiggling like a newborn. And they were they were actually very amazed. But they said to me, because of the stage that he was born, they had to watch him for 3 days. And after that 3 days, they would determine whether or not he would have life or not. So from that very moment, we had those struggles. He was in the hospital after birth for about 4 months in comparison to a regular baby. And so when he came out, his first year, it was smooth, no issues, really, to the degree, like, because he had regular checkups. His physician, his pediatric doctor was amazing. I remember after the first year when Noah started getting sick to the point of hospitalization, there was one night we were at Sick Kids, and it was about 12 midnight, and I saw a shadow of someone coming in the room. So I slightly opened my eyes thinking it was a staff member, and it was his pediatric doctor. I've never forgotten that. So because I say that to say this, that yes, we did have challenges after, like major challenges after the first year, because he became very asthmatic, a lot of setbacks in regards to viruses that he had picked up. But his doctor was phenomenal. And I'm so grateful I had his support, because he caught things right away, so they did not prolong.
That, I think right there, that is, you just kind of said that, it's like catching things, having awareness. I like that you said recognition, awareness, so that you can control things. And I'm loving, Tomas, you probably feel this too, is, you know, that little button they give you to call the nurse when you need help, the call button.
Yes.
It's like we all need that call button in life, like for everything, so that we can go, oh no, I need help, and don't be afraid to use that button, because I'm hearing totally that you went from such a fear. I was scared, I heard you say, and there was fear, but then what your goal was, what you were aiming for is peace. So when you're a single parent and a parent, regular parent, any parent, you want peace, because you always have this, like, is he okay? Are they okay? Am I okay? And we just want peace.
Yes.
Peace of mind.
Yes. Yeah. And the call button works. So
That it
use
does.
it. Yes. Press the call button. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Arlene, you referenced a few minutes ago here that when Noah was younger, you were ignored as a result of being a single parent, even in the hospital itself. And then as the years went forward, that there was a developed sense of frustration and anger pent up in you. What have you done? What did you do to help work through that? Because I know that's common with any parent.
Well, what I had to do, I realized that it was not healthy. It was very harmful. And I always said, with the vision that I had in regards to having a family, that I wanted to be the best parent. Because in that regards, you have to be loyal to your child. You know, you have to aim to give them all of you, because they are the future. Your child is the future. Your child is a replica of who you are. And you want to be able to leave a legacy, so your child ends up leaving a legacy. You know, I realized that I could no longer take my family or my son for granted. So what I had to do is really, like I said, I'm originally in the first cast, I'm really grateful for going back to school and taking that psychology course, because it really made me take a look at myself, how I was conducting myself, what I needed to improve on, enhance who I am, not change who I am, but enhance who I am, breaking patterns in order to be a better mom and a better person.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Did she? I think Arlene just packed a punch. She put everything in there, even including like the one thing I love that you said was about you're loyal to your child, how that loyalty, and you said you aim to give them all of you. And I was going to ask you, how does that loyal quality help in achieving parenting goals, life goals? There's a quality to being loyal. Can you actually share with us, what would be your definition of being loyal? When you say you aim to be,
Yeah,
loyal.
sure. My definition of loyal is really respecting that individual, who they are and who they have the potential to become. And you have to undergird that, because once you give that to your child, it comes back to you in return. Whatever you sow, you reap. And in me taking a step back and analyzing myself and realizing that things that I need to improve on, I needed to make sure that I committed myself to Noah, his growth, and his development holistically. And I see the results of that now. It wasn't easy. It took time. It was a process. But at the end of it, and we're still going through it because we're still learning from one another, but it has really shed a light on our relationship, not just ours, but then we're able to be examples to other family members and friends.
Yeah.
When Noah goes out there, he's highly respected.
Mm.
People come back to me and say, wow, he's such a good child. He's such a good kid. He's so polite. He's so respectful, and I had to be loyal to myself first in order to learn how to be loyal to him. I had to make a commitment to myself
Mhm.
to learn not to automatically judge or command or demand the way I want him to be. I had to respect him as an individual, realize his personality, and help him work through his issues to become the best that I know he can be. Yeah.
That was absolutely so well said, so well spoken. I could feel like my heart just opening up with that, even thinking about my own parents. And Tomas, that is just, I know we were kind of feeling like, we were talking prior to this about how does one step into that, what you just said, recognizing, respecting a child for who they are and who they will be, but because you are a parent. And so, Tomas, do you want to take that over on that one?
Yes, Arlene, one of the things that Lisa and I would like to get your take on and ask you about is there are all kinds of balancing acts as a parent. I'm a parent, you're a parent, anyone who is will know, and of course everybody listening who is not a parent will also know that there are a lot of balancing acts. So, if you have kids, there's always a fine line, right, between actually being a parent and having expectations
That's right.
of somebody versus being just their friend. So, what Lisa and I are wondering about is, for you, what has been the balancing point? Because you mentioned the word helicopter parent. For those out there that aren't familiar with the term, well, that's hovering like a helicopter, as opposed to letting a child take their own lumps, so to speak, to let them make mistakes. So, what's your balancing point, Arlene, on that?
Well, it's funny you said that in regards to the child not being your friend, but a parent. You are a parent to that child. Because just last night, Noah and I were joking around and I called him my friend. I said, wait a minute, you're not my friend. You're my child. I'm your mama. So
There
we
you go.
started laughing. So that's
Mhm.
pretty funny. But in regards to my balancing act, I have learned to just stop, focus, and observe. And when it gets to a certain point, when it gets too much, which you will know because you feel it, you
Right.
take a step back and you say, wait a minute, we need to readjust. And you just inform the child that, you know what, this is a little too much right now. I need time to think. I need time to take a break. And I need time to just decide what is best right now. Give me that moment. You have to learn to really take that moment because time is valuable. It's given to us for more than one reason.
Right.
And that time that is allotted to us, we can never get back. So it's time to learn how to really balance whatever you need to do. If it's to take a moment out, read a book, meditate, go for a walk, anything in that regard, just to slow your mind, slow down that pace.
Mm-hmm.
Arlene, I was just thinking when you said that about to take a break. You, as a parent, are letting your child know, and you're modeling that to say, "I
Mm-hmm.
need to take a break." Now, when is it appropriate? I guess in proper, let's call it parenting, yeah, proper intentional parenting,
Mm-hmm.
when the child can let the parents know, "I need to take a break. You're putting too much pressure on me." How are they allowed, like, is a child allowed to say that to a parent? What's the best way for a child to let the parent know that, "Mom or dad, you're putting too much on me. I need time to breathe and think and do what I need to do here."
Yes, we have to definitely value that. That's where I say all the time. It's not just really putting yourself um, on the balancing act. Uh, you've got to make sure that you recognize that your child also needs to learn how to balance. So, with
Yeah.
that being said, if you're constantly demanding or commanding and not taking the time to look at what or even feel using empathy what your child is going through, definitely that's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, you see your child or you feel that your child is going through a lot or feels the pressure, you've got to communicate. You've got to stop and you've got to express to them that you are there for them. You're willing to do what you can. So it makes it better for them. So it helps them alleviate. So it helps them alleviate that
What
pressure.
Okay.
what
Right.
no, I was just gonna say, what did raising Noah, where do you think that Noah might have felt some pressure from you that you had to stop and have awareness and go, "Ooh, I'm placing too much pressure on him," or did Noah come right out and say, "Hey, Mom, you gotta just stop here"? Did you have
Okay, well,
self-awareness?
yeah, definitely. What had happened with Noah, because we did go through that, um, I paid attention to his personality.
Okay.
Again, it goes back to recognizing and knowing and understanding your child's personality.
Mm-hmm.
Because Noah would normally be vibrant, humorous, and
Okay.
he was just shutting down. He wasn't speaking as much. He was isolating himself, in his room, and he wouldn't come out and engage with us as much. So you've got to be able to pick up the signs, recognize the signs.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
what would your suggestion be for parents that might be struggling with recognizing the signs with that kind of awareness?
Well, what happens is that, again, you've got to know your child. You have got to understand your child, because if you do not take the time to do that, you're putting that child in harm's way, and there are consequences that will occur. And then you don't want to go back and say, have any regrets and say, if I only knew, I should have, would have, could have.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That just strikes me to ask that question, because there are so many parents that are involved in the constant balancing act. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we all know people that have gone very far to one extreme or the other. So, yeah. Anything else that you'd like to say about being a parent and letting them take their own lumps versus, you know, moving in, your balance? And any other suggestions or advice for parents out there?
I would just say, when the load gets too overwhelming,
Mhm.
that or too challenging, that you learn to delegate
Ah,
somehow.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go. This is, I just had this beautiful, I feel like, so thank you, Arlene, because I think I just had a beautiful realization that I love that you said you have to get to know your child.
Oh,
This is such a light bulb moment for me, Arlene and Tomas, because I think a lot of parents have a child and think, I've got to make this child, like I made a baby and now I've got to make a child, I got to make this person, and I'm putting in these lessons, and I'm putting in this color blue and this color yellow, and creating something, when really we get to know them as they get to know themselves through experiences. And I'm having such a beautiful aha moment about this. And I love your approach, Arlene, that get to know your child's personality, get to know your child, and what their load of you know, how much
mm-hmm.
challenge accept, and get to know when they need help, when do they need to press the call button for help. And I just love your loving approach, of respecting that they are not someone's project, that they are their own little being of love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, definitely.
yes.
They have their own character.
Mhm.
Yeah, yes, they do. And, you know, Arlene, there are a lot of parents who that I've spoken with in life who feel like their children actually sort of chose them. They're not
Yeah.
ours.
Oh.
Do you feel that way with Noah?
Um, I think it's a balancing act between Noah and and myself now.
All right.
Yeah, I believe that he definitely is a gift.
Mhm.
I believe that he came through me. I didn't create him. He came through
Yes.
me for a
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Oh,
I
Oh,
have to
gosh.
value him. I have to take care of him.
right. Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, the word that often comes up for a lot of parents that I know is you're shepherding, or kind of like a steward. You're there to guide,
Absolutely.
there to help. That works. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So any sense of Noah's purpose, since we're talking about him, let's talk about him a little bit more here on
Okay.
worldwide internet podcast, radio. What's your sense of what Noah's purpose might be? I know he's young, he's 23.
Hmm. And Thomas, we've been speaking about that a lot because, again, we have some deep conversations now that he's in that age that we can correspond, and it was just last night I said to him, we were having a conversation. I said, Noah, I just want to make sure that you do better than how I did. You have a purpose. I want you to focus on exactly what you want to do so you don't waste a lot of time and have a lot of regrets.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
his purpose, as we were speaking, I know it's a little bit funny because my purpose for him is different than what he sees for himself.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel that his purpose is children, because children, younger children, gravitate towards him.
Oh, I see. All right.
Yes, they all love
I
him
love it.
wherever we go. And he used to do camp counseling, and they wanted him to come back, but then COVID happened, you know?
Okay. Yeah. So he was a camp counselor and they wanted him to come back then. Yes, Arlene. And so they wanted Noah to come back because of certain qualities then to camp. What were those that they saw?
Oh, that is so easy, Thomas. Noah is very compassionate. He
Okay.
exercises empathy. Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
You know what? I have to say, I can see why now how you'd want him to be around children or an influence to children, maybe that purpose, because I think that's what we need to offer children a lot more of is compassion and empathy. But with that line of being, I'm a parent or a role model offering you this, not everything you say and do is fine without guidance. I think
Exactly. Come on, Lisa, you're so on point.
I really appreciated my parents parenting me. I really appreciated that my parents were not my friends, because you get friends.
Absolutely. Oh, that is so true. I look back, and with my father being so strict, I understand now. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Looking back, I think we have maturity. And I remember, and if we could just speak about that, with parenting, when you're intentionally parenting, we are the parent are the mature ones, and having that understanding that a child will mature and they need to have experiences, and they just can't have, like what you said, that helicopter hovering parent. And I would love for you to speak. How could you help other parents recognize or allow for the opportunity for children to mature? Where do you see where parents are holding back maturing in their ways, that you could offer some guidance to everybody?
Again, Lisa, it goes back to taking the time, stop, look, and then speak, and then act. Because I'll give you an example. My mom, she is that type with Noah. She spoils Noah.
Uh-oh.
Constantly wanting, which I understand, I get it, but constantly, constantly wanting to do things for him, not allowing him to just think for himself. Just wanting to do. So I intervene and I say, Mom, no, he's got to learn. Let him go, let him do. And if he fails because it's a natural consequence.
Sure.
If he does well, it's a life lesson.
Yes, celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, how difficult was it to have that conversation with your mom, or is that ongoing?
To be honest, it is ongoing.
Sure.
But she's gotten better. Yeah.
Okay.
But she's gotten better because he understands too. And I tell you, so much work has been done, Lisa, Thomas. But Noah has actually matured, because now we take the time to just talk and have a relation. So he knows, he understands his grandmother loves him. He understands why she wants to do for him, but now he will speak up and say, Grandma, I can do that. I know how to do, I will do that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
taking responsibility. I
Yes.
love that.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Love it. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, and it's great about having older children that are able then to have those deep conversations, because it sounds like you all had a very, very good one just last night.
Oh, we did, and it was quite funny, but yes.
Good.
Yeah.
we mentioned one of his qualities. Noah's qualities was being funny. He's humorous, so I can tell he's on point now because I'm like, well, if Mama Arlene is recognizing that was being funny, then we're on the right track. And my final question to this particular episode is, do you think you'll always parent him this way, even if he's 50, when he's 50? Are you still going to be, making sure that you're getting to know him as he matures and grows? Are you going to be watching and recognizing, checking in? Are you always going to be a mama?
Oh, God willing, yes. I always tell him when he gets married, make sure that the woman that you get married to, make sure you solve your conflict, or else I'm going to intervene for her.
Ah, yeah. Well, that should provide him plenty of motivation to deal with conflict well, right? Yes, I love it.
Well, and the best thing is too is that you're going to have this whole series on intentional parenting. I think it's going to be he's going to end up scaring the girls away. He goes, well, you got to listen to my mom's shows.
Right. I love it. Yes. Well, Arlene, this has been a pleasure as always, and a very, very good and deep conversation. We've touched on a lot of topics that help parents, not just single parents, but parents in general and people in general. And before we wrap up, then, anything else that you would like to add today?
Yes, I would just say it's so important to relieve, in order to relieve stress and just the struggles.
Hmm.
Just take the time out for you. Take a
Yeah.
moment out for you. That's it.
Okay.
I love that.
I love that advice. That's something that I say to people all the time.
Ah,
Just
nice.
take the time out for you. All right. And Arlene,
Mhm.
I know from this being the third episode in our series that you are available for parents with questions that might need support. How can people reach out to you?
So my contact number, Thomas, is 416-738-6003.
All right. And just reach out and call Arlene. And this is
Mm-hmm.
a Canadian number, so +1 if you're dialing internationally, 416-738-6003. And Arlene would be happy to lend her support and her ear for you as listeners. So if you're listening out there and you have questions for Arlene, feel free to give her a call. All right. Well, this has been a pleasure, Arlene. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Thomas. Lisa?
Thank you for the aha moment. Until the next episode, I'm
Mhm.
just gonna savor that one. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.